afternoon. It's time for the market reflection. Turn the lights down, get into a comfortable position, and breathe. That music just kind of put that right into my head. Thought we'd start with that. Welcome to the reflection, Thursday, June the 8th. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. If you're going to watch today's reflection, we're going to go and we're going to dissect the things that maybe we missed a little bit on Make Hogue Money this morning. It's good to see everybody, Dr. VJ. Bill, we're going to take a look at those things here shortly. Mitchie kisses back from Chicago, coming in from Spain. We're going to give it a couple of minutes before we really get into things. And I always like that 3 o'clock time because you can kind of let your guard down. You can relax a little bit. The day is over. Hopefully, we've all had a good day, of course. We had the S&Ps close unofficially up 24 points or 0.6%. The NASDAQ up 172 points, 1.2% higher, and the Dow up about 160 ticks, 0.5%. And again, those are unofficial numbers. Officially in crude, the market closed at 71.29, down $1.24, about 1.7% lower. Now that tank in crude prices occurred today after a report of talks between the U.S. and Iran agreeing to talk about temporary nuclear deal that would allow Iran the opportunity to sell more crude. We'd loosen up some of the sanctions. So, of course, crude oil took a nosedive. It wasn't too long after that report came out that the White House has refuted that report. Apparently, that was a false report. So the market dipped down and kind of came almost half the way back up. I don't know if anybody really believes that the White House has refuted it. I don't know what the deal is, but hey, it is what it is. Jobless claims pulled the bid on the U.S. dollar, and at least for now, gold comes up off those lows, but still largely range bound for now, and the equities still largely remain range bound. We looked below the area of balance we've been in this morning. We traded all the way to the upper extreme of that area of balance. So no major change in market state, just some decent opportunities. And again, we're going to take a look at this on the charts here in just a couple of minutes. What else was I going to tell you? I got so relaxed after that music, I forgot what I was talking about. Maybe light some incense and relax. Oh, anyways, Philip, it's good to see you. And Jenish, good to see you as well. All right, why don't we dive into the charts here and we'll take a look at, again, what maybe we missed this morning in Make Hogue Money. Now, that's one of the reasons I like to do this reflection is because we all have to do these things. You all have to prepare for the trading day. You all have to really look at what the market is telling you, try and find your hypotheses, looking at the nuances, and then try and trade to those hypotheses if they do begin to come true. Now, if you miss something, you feel like you missed something during the trading day, hopefully you've been journaling during the trading day, you review your journal, and then you look left onto the charts. Let's take a look. Here's the S&P daily. Well, we looked yesterday at the upper extreme. We looked at the low of the extreme yesterday. We looked below the low of the extreme and rejected. That rejection should have been a signal that the market could feasibly rotate all the way back up to the other end of the other side of the extreme of the balance that the market is in. And that's exactly what happened here. So what else happened? Well, I'm just going to look at this like this for now. So we looked yesterday at kind of trying to find the extremes of the area of balance. We said Monday's high, Tuesday's low. We traded to Monday's high. We traded to Tuesday's low. This morning we open in range and we look lower. We don't take out the overnight low. All right, there's one warning sign that the market is maybe going to be rejecting lower pricing. The second sign, the excess on the low of this bar. The market came back in, rotate all the way through value, and ended up rotating all the way back to the upper extreme of the area of balance. So if there was something maybe we missed this morning, it was the fact that the market, and we did talk about this in Make Hogue Money, and my brother Rick who's always the bear, is looking to take shorts. And I told him, with this excess down here, I'd much rather look to the long side. So we took a couple of losses. I made some of it back in the Make Hogue Money account for us today. And ended up having an okay day. It wasn't a great day. I'm finding sometimes it's difficult to trade what you're thinking when you're talking about everybody else, what they're thinking. Something I'm going to have to work on, because we're going to be doing a lot more live trading in the coming weeks, months, and hopefully years. So if we missed something, it was the fact that we couldn't take out the low of the overnight session, the excess on the low, below yesterday's low, below Tuesday's low. That should have been our sign to, you know what, we maybe need to start looking for longs. Here's what it looked like on the TPO chart. So we opened, I think we left the opening range at the high of the session or the low of the session. I forget which one. Anyways, we took a look here. I'm going to use this one because it includes the overnight session. Hang on, let's go. So here's our overnight session. Here's where we opened, flopped around here a little bit. It was kind of like the opening range ended up being right in the middle of the early range. But the fact that we couldn't hold below we couldn't hold below yesterday's low, which was a weak low, and then we leave excess down below that. That was a yes, that was a warning shot. That was a sign we should be looking at potentially a rotation back to the high of balance, and that's exactly what it is. Hegel Matters, thank you very much for scolding me. Dalton probably would scold me as well. We're only trying to listen to market generated information. But when everybody else is, kind of talking about this, that, the other thing, their context, their ideas, that kind of stuff for Make Hogue Money, I mean, I'm not supposed to be making those decisions, but it's making it a little bit more difficult to make my own decisions. And these are, things I'm going to have to work on as we continue doing this. So we talked about what happened in the S&Ps. Is there a change in market state? No, not really. I mean, we're still holding Monday's high. We're still holding Tuesday's low in large part. We rejected below it today. What are we doing tomorrow? Well, tomorrow we're going to be waiting for Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, CPI. Wednesday, PPI, FOMC release. So what these markets are really thirsty for is some new information. Well, here's crude oil today. What a mess that was. Holy cow. So did we change anything in longer time frame? We did not. We did not change anything. We're still range bound. We had, here's the 30. We had the market open in range and in value, and we can kind of tell where that announcement came out. And we tanked, and then they refuted it, so we came most of the way back. How do you trade an unknown release like that? An unknown comment by somebody? It's difficult to do, but you can. And Hegel Matters is right. You're going to have to listen to market-generated information only. You could tell something changed, I'm sure, quite quickly at that 10:30 bar. Hey, Rooster. Good to see you. So the market really just kind of settled right in the middle of the range. Here's what the TPO chart looked like. Open. The opening range, I think, was the high of the session. And just finding a tank move to the downside and then whirling back and coming all the way back up. This would have been You know, if you were already short, you probably had a good day. If you tried to chase it, or if you started getting aggressive to the short side on these lows, you probably would have had a rough day. This would have been a hard trade to fade. I don't see, there's no major levels down here as far as TPOs are concerned, value highs, value lows, any of that. What about the NASDAQ? So did we change anything here? No, we didn't. We traded to last week's low and we found buyers down there, and we've just kind of been trying to return back to the high of the area of balance. Here's that 30-minute chart. So we didn't even get a chance to trade outside of yesterday's range. Well, yesterday's session low was a late spike. We opened above it. That's rejection of lower pricing. We just barely got into the late spike when buyers came in and brought this market right back to high of value. Right back to high of value. So rejecting of the late spike in the NASDAQ was yet another reason we may have been able to look for longs a little bit earlier in the S&Ps than we did. Here's the TPO chart. You're going to see the late spike. There's that late spike from yesterday. We opened, traded into it, rejected it, off to the races. Gold. Huh. So something spooked the dollar today. This market was basically barcoding what it did yesterday. Big down day yesterday, big up day today. Volume looks about even, doesn't it? Here's the 30. So here's that 730 number. No real overnight inventory, maybe a little bit long, but buyers came in right away when those numbers came out. The jobless claims numbers, for some reason, the dollar just tanked. Here's the TPOs. This is going to show, this is not showing the whole, oh, I have it set wrong. So I'm going to go reset this. 730. Why does it, sometimes it just does that on its own. There we go. Now we've got our drive to the upside. Basically just taking back what we did yesterday. Didn't even repair down to the low here in regular trading hours. Or maybe it did, because that's a 730 chart. Here's the euro. Euro again with the dollar tanking, finding a bid and getting right up to last week's high. That is an extreme that maybe we're going to be able to find opportunities in and around yesterday. Overnight inventory certainly got paid today. Double distribution trend day with a weak high, an unfinished upside auction. Excess, unfinished downside auction here, unfinished downside auction here. I'm going to go on a limb here and say we haven't seen the lows in the euro just yet. What about the 10 years? Last week's low, tested and rejected. We just took back what we did yesterday. What is with these markets? Seems strange. You got to remember, though, that our equities are in rollover, currencies are in rollover, crude oil is starting to get into rollover. I can't wait till rollover's over. The markets just always act a little bit strange when those are in rollover. Here's the TPO, double distribution trend day. IB the low, a weak high, excess at the low here. No, this is it's an exactness. Exactness can be viewed as weakness. Excess down here. And I'm so glad I did not have to trade the natural gas today. Still seeing a kind of potential bull flag, but it didn't bring opportunity today. The market broke below it, and it just was vicious and volatile. I know we had the natural gas numbers today, but we didn't get any directional activity below this trend line. So I have to take another look at this tomorrow morning and kind of assess what I'm thinking about this market. Here it is in the TPO chart, though. Normal variation, neither extreme of the initial balance was held. So, all right. Well, it's another day tomorrow. We do not have any major economic numbers tomorrow. We've got nothing. Baker Hughes rig count. At least that's what I'm seeing on one of these calendars. So I'm going to be kind of stuck in our minds again and just working what we see. Yeah, Glenn, this week feels odd. Always feels odd when we're in rollover. George, Lacey says it's okay. She's not mad at the delay to say hello to the center of the universe. Huh. Rob P, that's an interesting stat. Thank you for posting that. Rob says that remember that the initial balance gets crossed on both sides every Monday before the FOMC so far this year. And on Tuesdays, it's 89% of the time. No, Rooster, don't get crushed today. Kind of warned you about that this morning. Take that lesson and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. So, interesting things in history today. George Orwell's 1984 was published on this date in 1949. 1984, Ghostbusters was released on this date. 1948, the first Porsche was completed. Or do you say Porsche? And in music, we have a couple of birthdays. It is Nancy Sinatra's birthday. She was born in 1940. Boz Scaggs. If you remember Boz Scaggs, the Lido Shuffle and the Lowdown. He was born in 1944 on this date. Bonnie Tyler, if you remember Bonnie Tyler, I imagine a lot of you don't remember, but she was born in 1953. Total Eclipse of the Heart was one of her big big hits. We have Kanye West's birthday is today, born in 1977. And a couple of interesting things that had happened on this date. 1974, Dolly Parton was at number 1 on the U.S. country chart with I Will Always Love You. That's the Whitney Houston had a big hit with it, but it was written by Dolly Parton. Elvis wanted to cover the song. Parton was interested, but Presley's manager, Colonel Tom Partner, told her that it was standard procedure for the songwriter to sign over half of the publishing rights to any song Elvis records. Parton refused. 1985, Tears for Fears started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Everybody Wants to Rule the World. 2003, Led Zeppelin was number 1 on the U.S. album chart with their triple live album, How the West Was Won. It's the band's 7th U.S. number 1 album. Performances were from the band's 1972 tour of the United States, recorded at the LA Forum and Long Beach Arena. June 1972. There's something else here. Yeah, I think that's about it. So take it easy tonight. Got a weekend coming up after tomorrow. May see some opportunities tomorrow. I wish I could tell you for sure what they were going to be and if they were going to be good opportunities, but nobody can do that. So we'll just rest up, do our homework in the morning, and see what the markets offer us tomorrow. So on that note, I'm going to take off and relax a little bit this evening. We're going to watch a movie in the family room tonight, have a couple of hot dogs and relax and be ready for tomorrow. So be kind to yourselves. We work hard at this. You deserve it. Be kind to others. Make sure you pray for peace. And I'll see you in the morning on the market prep.